If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard with you. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino for the next 3 hours. Big program lined up. Great guests. We'll go to New York coming up in 30 minutes. Paul Bovi, professional sports bettor, on the program at that time. We'll get his thoughts on his Knicks do or die tonight against the Pacers, college football, and how this sport appears to be changing rapidly right before our eyes. Adam Rittenberg coming up on the show. Most wins in June with Chris Bennett here at Circa. And Wes Reynolds, lifelong Indy fan, his thoughts on the Pacers and the Knicks. We'll also get into our best bets that we have in Major League Baseball. And the Phillies on the precipice here of finishing off the Braves. If they win this, that's a huge game and a huge win for that most wins in May market, because they'll have a commanding lead then over a couple of other teams. And they have a doubleheader game tonight, obviously, with Wheeler going against Sale, which is a big boy. Pauly, I know we've criticized Oklahoma City in the playoffs because of some of their weird performances that they had. But now this team is getting better as the playoffs drag on. And at home, they are taking teams out in a body bag. This is really remarkable now when you look at the eye-popping numbers. Their net rating overall for the playoffs is 11.8. At home, they have an offensive rating of 121.8 and defensive rating of 97.2. That net rating is plus 24.7 at home. And now again, after last night, like, teams are scoring no points against them, basically. I mean, after that 121 that they allowed to Denver in Game 1, it's been 106 or below every single time. And of the 9 playoff games they've had at home so far, the median score is 99. And last night, 9 points allowed to Minnesota in the first quarter, and that's after allowing 8 in the first quarter against Denver in Game 4? This is the team that we saw over 82 games in the regular season.
Yes, it's an all-time great defense between the length, the athleticism, the depth, and how they turn you over. It's bananas what they're doing, turning you over. And Minnesota had more turnovers than field goals in the first half. The Denver series threw me. It threw a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't think you can be in that all-time discussion when you go 7 against a team that I don't think was very good.
Well, it also tells you, like, how good is Nikola Jokic?
That too. I know. But they're so damn good at home as well. The only home game they lost, they blew. I mean, they're up 9 with 2:40, and they choked that off. But you just see with how good SGA is, and if Williams is knocking down shots, and this is from a scout. Game 4 sent the biggest message to the rest of the league. I saw it, and I'm scared for the future because they're that good. They're so young. I think this is me talking. I think only one guy is over 30 on the roster.
Oh, yeah, the average age is 24.
Yep. So moving forward, he says, I expect them to win it this year, and then who knows what happens in the future, how many times they could win it, because they have all these picks, too. And I give Presti credit. He never swung for the fences, and you could say Paul George impacted 2 teams big time with that trade, what happened.
No doubt.
Because OKC got the better player of the deal, and then also what happened where they got all those picks as well, what that turned into.
Sure. Go back from an edition of Do You Concur on May 9th. That's 20 days ago when I asked you, we're going to look back after the NBA Finals and say, why didn't we bet Oklahoma City over and over and over again when they were plus money? And I said, Pauly, do you concur? That was a Friday. They played that night against Denver. They were tied 1-1. They lost. But that was the Friday was after the 149-106 beatdown in Game 2. They lost that game to go down 2-1 to Denver in their series.
Yeah.
But they were sitting there plus money. Now look at this now.
I know they were lousy offensively in those road games. They still haven't covered a road game in the playoffs, and they played with their food in the Memphis series. So, yeah, they finally woke up, and they were great in Game 7. But then again, Denver also had a guy when Gordon, who was sick. Porter had one arm. They didn't have any depth, and Westbrook sucks. So, I mean, but I give them credit now, and they just destroyed Minnesota. And you're right. He's right. Game 4 was scary. Because Minnesota, with those 3 guys on the bench to go for 20+, thanks for checking in last night, Walker, by the way. My God, doesn't make a shot. But for those guys to go off and score 126 points at home and you still lose.
Right, I know.
And what happened, it just shows you. But you're right, to what it is now. I mean, now the game one number's up at DraftKings. If they're 9 against Indiana and the total's 233, and then the series price is $8. So
$8 now.
Yeah, so how it's $7 if they play the Knicks. How are you going to hedge this?
Okay, first of all, if they're $8 against the Pacers, they need to be $14 against the Knicks.
Yes.
That's on paper, we'll see it play out. The Knicks will not beat the Thunder, and I think they have little chance to even be in the series. Again, the power rating here, it's completely backwards. The Knicks are not a better team than the Pacers. The Pacers need to be a smaller number against the Thunder than the Knicks are. That's me talking. I firmly believe that at this point. And if you're not paying attention and watching the Pacers-Knicks games, or if you are and that's your conclusion, then we just completely disagree. So, and I don't think the Knicks series would be close. I don't even want to see it happen because I think it's going to be unwatchable like some of these games have been.
I think they would have beat Boston. I didn't see the Boston meltdown coming. Certainly, I'm assuming Tatum didn't get hurt, though, with that, losing to the Knicks. But I still think OKC would have beat a healthy Boston team in the finals. I think Indiana can it'll be a great matchup if that happens with their great offense and tempo against the number 1 defense. But, I mean, you're in a great spot, you would think, that you're holding these tickets 75, 100, 125 to 1. Even if you play the double, OKC to win game 1 in the series is a hedge. That's got to be $4.
No, see, you had to be hedging on Oklahoma City weeks ago.
Yep.
If you had these big numbers on the Pacers, just coming out of maybe just to win the West, to win the title, whatever it was, you had to be involved. And by the way, again, after last night's action, I can tell you that I've seen the tickets from multiple people watching, listening to the show, including Scott in the Pacific Northwest. He absolutely crushed it with the cross-sport parlays, and this was the last leg, Oklahoma City, just to win the West. Again, you don't have to slap on a team to win the title.
Right.
Just concentrate on conferences.
What was it? A little Florida? What else was it?
Little Florida on there. Both Floridas, by the way. College basketball and the Panthers to win the East.
There you go.
That was it. And he had some other bets that were sprinkled in there. Guess what he's doing after last night? He's taking his wife to Bora Bora.
Come on.
Yeah. They're going in July.
Sanders?
He said last night was the most successful betting night. Now, with them, the results getting there and the tickets cashing, the best betting night he's ever had his entire life. And he's not the only one, by the way. Mm-hmm. Chris Massero took home $60,000 yesterday with Oklahoma City winning the West. Now, he gave some back. He talked about that with Matt Humans and Tim Murray on primetime. He gave back, I think it was $10,000 or $12,000 hedging. But so that ticket with Oklahoma City and Florida and some other stuff tied in with the cross-sport parlays paid $60. Yeah,
he did a good job last time he was in studio explaining how he puts them together and how he had it closed out with OKC and how to put that thing together. Good job.
And I want to run this by you, Pauly. I saw a good tweet today that said if you go back to last year, if you look at like net rating, margin of victory, all of the analytics, the numbers will tell you that Boston and Oklahoma City are maybe 2 of the best teams of all time in the history of the NBA. But the person also said the more NBA that is played like it is today and the more three-point shooting that we get, it's going to continue to be like that. And the person said there's no way that Boston and Oklahoma City are all-time great teams. The numbers tell you that because of the roller coaster games that we have and all the three-point shooting. Like if you're good at it and if you're also solid like OKC is at defending the three, your numbers overall are going to look like you're one of the best teams of all time. I will fight anybody, again, that Boston last year was not all-time good. They were not.
No way.
Their numbers tell you that they were, but because of the three-point shooting, and by the way, the path that they had to win that title.
Everyone got hurt.
Right.
Yep. You know, back in the you couldn't play zone. That's the other thing. And but it's still, Denver gave them problems throwing a zone at them as well. To me, it's the 2017 Warriors and what they were able to do. And just Curry, Durant, Thompson. It ends there.
I would agree.
I mean, how do you stop that? And they lost one playoff game that season, and that's when the Cavs set the record for most points in a half. That's what it took to beat them.
Right.
So,
I don't know.
But the future is so bright, though. To think that you could win the title, or you're at least huge favorites, and then you have all these assets and picks and what that could turn into. And not to mention, you could also go out if you want. I don't think he will, but then Presti could package this stuff and make a trade.
If he wants to.
Yeah.
I mean, he is holding so many chips. He's got so much hand. It's incredible at this point. Now, I guess if you go back to the start of even last year, and then if you fast forward a couple of years from right now, maybe this is going to turn into one of the all-time dynasties because they are set up to just dominate the league for, again, fill in the blank with how many years. They are the youngest team in the NBA. And if the guy, like you just said, what does he want to do with it? Does he not want to? Look at how they've drafted, by the way. Mm-hmm. How good is Cason Wallace? The guy could be a borderline superstar in this league at some point.
Caruso was a Laker, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot. There's a lot of stuff about. Go back to that Laker team that won the title in the bubble, and go back to some of the guys that were on that team, and they let them go.
And a little
Which I know you can't keep everyone together, but that also goes back to drafting.
Like pre-LeBron. So they actually did a great job drafting guys, but they were terrible at developing then.
Correct.
And then they would give up, and hey, look at what would happen all of a sudden.
Yeah, I never saw that in L.A. out of Randall. He got hurt right away. There was another guy you had. You had Randall. You had Caruso. You had Ingram. You gave away Zubac. Yep. Magic Johnson gave him away. Mm-hmm. He's a stud. Right? List goes on. Smarter bets start with VSiN Pro. You have until Saturday. Lock it in. 14 months, $199. Less than 50 cents a day. The morning email from Bill 80. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits, DK and Circa. The dog videos. Get the VSiN Watch app. The NFL betting guide drops soon. Humans fast food rankings coming soon as well. VSiN.com/subscribe. Promo code PRO. Sign up now. Get it. Deal ends Saturday.
So my Wolves 40-1 ticket is a coaster. I didn't hedge because Oklahoma City was 330 for the series.
I know. I had 33. Again, what are you going to do? I did the double, but
tough.
Yep. You got to steal one on the road, and that's.
I know.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Should have stolen game one. I mean, I love betting futures. Love it. I am not a big fan of being a year early. I was all over Oklahoma City last year. Yep. And after what happened, their numbers were so short this year. I'm like, I'm not going to go back to the well.
And that surprised me. I know it was kind of a fluke, but I don't think P.J. Washington will ever shoot like that again, and that's what took you out.
Up next, we'll get into Game 5s that we have tonight, and I'm going to run a blockbuster trade in the offseason that has been thrown out there by Pauly. I think bettors would be cutting in line to bet this team next year.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Love the cross-sport parlays. You can always reach out to us on X at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Pauly Howard. This is from the Real ACL. He did this back before the tournament, college basketball. Florida to win the title, Thunder to win the NBA Finals, Oilers to win the Cup. $100, $26,000. The cash-out offer right now is more than $7,400. PropSwap said they can get probably $10,000 for it right now if you wanted to sell it.
All right.
Here's the mistake I made. And I talked about this on the air during Super Bowl week. I did cross-sport parlays with the Super Bowl MVP and Florida to win the national title. I put Hurts, Barkley, and Mahomes as the MVP, tied them up with Florida and Tennessee to win the national title, and the Lakers to win the West. $35 on that ticket, paid $22,000. Why did I did it right after the Luka trade. Why did I not do that with Oklahoma City?
I'm sure there's a lot of people jumped in on the Oilers, too, when they were down 0-2 to the Kings. I'm sure that happened.
Yeah.
And then the people that jumped in on the Pacers, and those are big tickets, no doubt. And we'll see what happens tonight, but if you can move on and then try to lock in a profit, and maybe something goes your way. But congrats to all those people, and keep sending those tickets in. We'll put them up as well.
What do you like tonight? So the Knicks came all the way down to 4 at most spots yesterday, then back to 4.5, and
changed my mind. I like the Pacers.
You do?
Yep. Are we going to get a Game 6, though? Are all 4 of these here? Are we going to have any sports this weekend? Is everything going to end? I know what Matt said yesterday, but this isn't David Stern's NBA anymore. So as much it'd be nice to have a game on Saturday night, I just think with Towns with the injury and being limited, and he is questionable, my source says he expects him to be limited tonight, that puts a ton of pressure on Brunson, which I like his props over and his points. But, when they're on the floor together, it's a disaster, as we talked about. They're outscored by 24 points. He's been bad defensively, and now he's compromised. And I just think the Pacers smell blood in the water. And they take them out here, and they've won 6 straight on the road in the playoffs, and they know what's on the line. They can make their second ever appearance to the finals. Oh, by the way, get a week off, too. How good would that be? Because the finals don't start till June 5th. Mm-hmm. So there's a cool prop up, 2 of them. One's at DraftKings. Brunson turnovers over 2.5. It's all got to be about him with a limited Towns. Plus, he turns it over 4 times a game.
Is that the average?
He's 4, yeah.
4,
the average
okay.
is 4, and it's 2.5 tonight. And the other one that's kind of interesting, I tweeted out earlier, Will Hill and Caesars offers how many dunks in the first 3 minutes of the game. Not
yes,
bad?
I know.
One plus is plus 110. 2 is 6-1. 3 or more is 20-1. Hey, it's 3-1 so far in the playoffs.
Oh, it is. What's 0?
3.
So
the 0 is like $1.50.
Is it okay?
But interesting about kind of like these people with the instant gratification with the first basket. You got how many dunks in the first 3 minutes. But that's I think Halliburton's going to be on a mission, and they're going to take him out. And I just think with Towns being hurt, it's too much to overcome. And then you can talk about the future with the Knicks as well. But
so
how do you see it?
If Towns is compromised, and I'm looking right now at vsin.com, Dan Karpuk had a write-up with 4 different player props that he likes in this game tonight. It's up on the site. I tweeted it out at Mitch Moss Radio. One of them is Josh Hart over 9.5 rebounds. I bet 8.5 over minus 140. I'm doubling down. I have him most rebounds in the series at plus 550. He is currently 6 behind Cat. But if Cat is like compromised, like you said, maybe can't go, limited, whatever that might be, Hart is the guy who I'm convinced that he's got to play 35-plus minutes in this game tonight. Also, he's had double-digit rebounds 3 out of the 4 games so far.
Okay.
So I think that's the one bet that I have in this game tonight. But I've also, as I pointed out yesterday, I've been on the right guy in the wrong games of the series, so it's been no good.
Oh, it's frustrating. I know. Both series. So this is from an NBA executive. The Knicks overachieved. I never loved their team. There's a ceiling with Brunson because he's so ball dominant. They overpaid for Bridges. OG's awesome, but he's limited in what he can do. They're the better collection of parts, but it fits better for Indy, and the style of play works better. Pacers don't have a weakness. And as Carlisle said after Game 3 that New York's better defensive players were on the court, he's talking about that big run they made also when Brunson was out. So, I mean, it just how they're attacking him and hunting him every time down and what Halliburton does going fast now. And I agree with what the executive said, even though they finally ended the 25-year drought. But it's kind of weird with the parts and pieces that they have, considering Brunson's going to take most of the shots and other guys are just standing around.
I agree. I think they completely overachieved. It's not like the trade worked out and was amazing in the regular season. They got pounded by the 3 best teams, and they were 0-10 against them.
Yeah.
And then they had, they overcame multiple 20-point deficits in that Boston series. They never should have defeated the Celtics, but they did. Good for them. They got here, and now again, this number, the total, by the way, at the beginning of the show was 224.5. Hello, 222.5 right now on the total. So a 2-point move there. I'll run this by you. Mark Stein tweeted this out earlier today. He said, "Are you ready for the NBA Summer of Trades?" And on his podcast, one conference executive said it's going to be a crazy summer. There's going to be a lot of movement. And that piggybacks what Shams was saying. I think it was on McAfee's show last week or 2 weeks ago when he said, get ready for the most chaotic offseason you can ever recall in the NBA. What do you make of this? Guy at Bleacher Report threw this out there. The Knicks cannot run this back because this is their ceiling. And they did overachieve.
Yes.
He said, you offer the Milwaukee Bucks, Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Miles McBride, first-round pick swap in 2026, 2028, 2030. The Knicks would get Giannis and Kyle Kuzma. Would you like that for New York, enough to go out there and bet them to win the East next year or maybe win the title?
That's too much.
You're giving up a lot.
Yeah. That's what I asked. I asked you that. That was a door one, door two, right? Were the Knicks better off not doing anything?
You're right.
and not trading for
and having all those picks.
Because then you could have had Freak.
And going after him, making a run for him this year.
You gave up 5 picks for Bridges and then the Cat trade.
Yep.
And even if you made the Cat trade, you could have done Cat and picks and just got Freak.
Right. So you're going to give up 3 guys now? Towns, OG, McBride? Kuzma can't play. What are we doing here? But that's like that would be a hey guys, you're going to get Giannis. Take the salary off the books, please, for us, and that's what they would have to do. But that's too much for the Knicks, I believe.
Got that? Yep. How you feeling tonight, Mr. Skinner? Big one. Close out.
I'm very pessimistic. So
I know you're gloomy, Gus. But this guy in closeout games, he's 5-1 with a 1.97 and a 920 save percentage. We are on this silly run in the NHL playoffs where 10 in a row and 19 of the last 21 have been decided by 2+ goals. Hello, Jonathan Davis today, VSiN.com. When Dallas loses, it's big. All 8 of their playoff losses have been by 3 goals or more. How crazy is that?
Wow.
Plus, since Game 1, though, when they lost to Colorado, they're 7-1 at home, but we know the Stars were shut out in Game 2 at home by Edmonton. The fluke of all flukes appears to be the third period of Game 1. And since then, it's been all Edmonton, and they've dominated the series.
We'd be talking about an entirely different playoff here if Colorado did not blow that series.
That's possible, too, right? Now, the other thing, as we've talked about Skinner, in Games 4 through 7 of a series, he's 13-1. He's given up 2 or fewer goals in 13 of the games. So does Dallas score? What happens here? You know, I agree with Davis on a prop. Robertson shots on goal over. He says 11 shots on goal in the last 3 games. But the other one, and thanks for the tweet, as much as we've talked about Skinner, how is Nugent Hopkins 250-1 for Conn Smythe? Multi-points in all 4 games. He'd be the first player since Gretzky to do 5 if he can do it tonight.
I added some 250-1 on him.
Yes.
Sure. Having a great run. Look, I'll be feeling terrific about Skinner, or much better, I should say, if he goes out there tonight in Dallas and closes him out and he's brilliant yet again. If he pitches a shutout, now we're really talking, I think. Because the narrative will get behind him and the push will start to really, really come if they close him out in 5 games and he throws another. If it's like 3-1 and he has 30 saves, I'll be feeling pretty good then too.
And this is entirely up to you. But Dallas on the puck line is plus 185. Edmonton on the reverse puck line is plus 280. It cashed again last night.
I did.
You know, you just bet both, and you've won 10 in a row and 19 of 21.
How about this tweet? Well, again, I didn't want to get involved last night because I'm late to the party on that, but how about this tweet from Jason Greger, who covers the Oilers? He said, could it happen? Twice in 45 years, teams met back-to-back for the Stanley Cup in 83 and 84.
Wow.
Gretzky, Edmonton, lost to the Islanders, came back and beat them. In 08-09, Crosby and Pittsburgh lost to Detroit, came back and beat them. Last year, McDavid and Edmonton lost to Florida. This year, Edmonton could play Florida, and they could come back and beat them. So where they lost the first time, came back to win.
To pick 'em. It's available. It's up there at numerous books. Yep. Start your day with an edge and a game plan. VSiN Daily Morning Bets Podcast. Your first look at the day's betting line, sharp action, and market movement. In just 15 minutes, you get everything you need to know to make smarter wagers and stay ahead of the line moves all before your morning coffee's gone. Listen to the VSiN Daily Morning Bets Podcast wherever you get your podcast or get on the VSiN Watch app.
Professional bettor Paul Bovi on the program coming up next. Lifelong Knicks fan as well. Does he agree with this total and where it's going as we speak? We'll ask him next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We head back to New York now as a friend of the show, friend of the network, professional sports bettor, lifelong Knicks fan, Paul Bovi joins the program, and he is on the progressive guest line. Good afternoon, buddy. You were feeling really, really good against, with this team before the Boston series. Feeling probably even better before the series against Indiana started. How are you feeling tonight with Game 5 looming?
Well, put it this way. I'm not going to the game. I think I've been scarred by all these elimination game losses, starting with I think the first one was Miami, 96-97, when Hardaway went off. And then we saw Indiana with the Patrick Ewing miss. And then last year, culminated with last year, even though it wasn't the Knicks' fault per se, just because of all the injuries. It was still tough to take. So I'm just going to sit back, watch it in a bar or a public place, and just hope for the best. And maybe there'll be a Game 7. Who knows?
You're going to go out in a public setting and watch the game, and you've admitted to being like a lunatic when you watch them and things are not going well?
Well, I always say that, and they end up in my room. I said that the other night.
Yes. All right. So how do you want to attack this from a prop standpoint with Cat being limited, questionable for the game, and it figures to be a lot of Brunson tonight? And I know as a Knick fan, you're hoping maybe the whistle goes your way too.
Well, I'm sure you guys have touched on this. The rating, the Knicks net rating with both those guys on the court has not been good. In fact, the Knicks win that game 106-100, perhaps by default because Brunson gets into foul trouble, and they end up, knocking it out of the park when he was out of the game. So the strategy by Tibbs in question. Will he put those guys on the court at the same time, and will Cat play? But either way, I think Brunson gets over the number at 30.5. But I'm going to look towards Josh Hart, actually. He's been averaging 4.3 shots this series. Now, throughout the course of the year, it's been 9 to 10. I think you can eliminate that game where he played 29 minutes only because he had 2 fouls in the first 7 minutes, and I think it took him out of the game. But rebounding-wise, I believe he had 6 that game, but the other 3 games, 10, 11, 13. So he should do some work on the boards. He's still sitting at around 9 or 9.5. And on the point total, I had him at 8.5 last game. He rang up some points early, paused for a while, eventually went over the number. But I'm going to go over Josh Hart again at plus money.
What do you make of the overall total for the game? And by the way, I'm on Hart over the rebounds tonight again, based on some of the things that you just talked about as well. Before we came on the air 40 minutes ago or so, Paul, the total was as high as 224.5 at some books. Now I'm looking, it's down to 222. There's a 2.5 out there. Here at Circuit's 221. So we're talking about a 3.5 point move since the show started.
Obviously, some of that could be a reflection of Cat, but I don't think that would necessarily suppress the scoring all that much. But look, I think the Knicks score points here. It's a desperation game. 2 back, they went under the team total by 5. And last game, they just blew out the number. I still like the Knicks from the standpoint of scoring inside the paint. I think they've been successful doing that and putting up points. Halliburton has certainly, he's done better shooting-wise than during the regular season against the Knicks, because he is exactly, I think he's 14 of 42 from beyond the arc, and he was 6 of 23 during the regular season. But I definitely think the Knicks should score some points. If they're going to go down, they're going to go down by scoring at least 109, 110, 111, 112, which I guess you're going to need 112 to get this thing over the number, and I think they should get there.
Okay. How much heat has Tibbs taken back there? For some of the people question the substitution patterns and guys that are out there and guys that play from time to time and what he's doing.
Yeah, but everybody's going to grade the result. Now, he finally played a 5-man rotation, although Precious only logged 2 minutes. Okay, so throw him out. But the other guys, they did well. I mean, you had a +6 and a +11 by 2 of those bench players. So they were actually the best 2 guys on the court with respect to plus minus. So at least he got a couple guys involved in the game that weren't getting in. But I think he could bring Precious in for a few more minutes, but at least get that rotation going. But everybody's going to grade the result, okay? It's easy to do that. I mean, Stephen A. Smith slams the guy. Tibbs came in here in 2020. The team has made progress. Nobody expected them to get to the point where they are. And yes, he's under scrutiny because he does play these guys a lot of minutes. I get it. But at some point, you do want to go with your best.
Paul, point spread, by the way. It was 5, now 4.5. Pauly and I have kicked this around pretty much the entire series. Again, you're a lifelong Knicks fan, and you liked them before the series started, but do these numbers make sense to you? How Indiana was laying 2.5 at home, and the Knicks, I mean, after game 1, they were 6.5 at one point, and game 2, another 4.5 tonight?
Well, look, the Knicks are obviously in a must-win situation. Now, the advantage Indiana has, and I'll use the term that's thrown around, and that's house money. They know they have in their hip pocket a game 6. So sometimes when you come out a little loosey-goosey, that actually can work in your favor. Mm-hmm. I think the Knicks aren't going to get a free roll here. They're going to have to work for this victory if they get it. And I say if, and that's the reason I'm not going, because I don't want to be there for the coronation of the Indiana Pacers beating the New York Knicks for the second straight year. So the Knicks are going to have to earn it. The Pacers figure to stay close. They don't have a lot of pressure on them right now. So I think that could make for a tighter contest.
Good point. And Indiana's 3-0 in that situation. You win game 1 at Cleveland, not happy with the split. You get game 2, you're up 3-1. You close them out in 5, and then you won game 1 in New York. You felt good. Well, we're not going to settle for the split. You win game 2 as well. So maybe same thing happens tonight. What advice would you give to people holding big tickets on the Pacers to win it all? And you're seeing at some books OKC as high as $8 series price. What could you do here?
I understand. OKC is a big favorite. OKC, let's not get caught up in recency. I mean, 128, 126, that could have been a 2-2 series heading back to OKC. They haven't exactly been road warriors during these playoffs.
Right.
And one thing about Indiana, they always have a puncher's chance because they can get hot. We saw that a few times. We saw that during the regular season when they went 21 of 46 from beyond the arc. Same as the Celtics. These guys got ballers and they got shooters. So I don't know what I do with it right now. I really haven't given it too much thought. My focus is on the Knicks. But if you're holding an Indiana ticket, that's not bad. Good for you.
Yeah, you're in a good spot. By the way, so you have 3 season tickets to the Knicks games as well. What are the prices like tonight compared to what you thought they might be for Game 5 before the series started?
I have to be honest with you. I did not even check. I have a partner. I don't micromanage the guy. It takes some pressure off me to have him take care of business, and that's exactly what he does. And whatever happens, happens, and wherever it lands, and I can't control it.
You offered Wes Reynolds a ticket, he said no?
I did. I told him I'd give him a ticket at face value.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drop my drawers all the way, but I'll drop them halfway.
I can't believe I said no. How much notice you give him?
I'm stealing that line.
I sent it to him 2 days ago.
Oh, he said no. I can't believe that.
2 days ago, huh?
Oh,
Actually,
wow.
no, I sent it to him early yesterday morning. Okay, I gave him ample time to fly cross country and take in a game at the Mecca.
Yep.
All right. Would you do this trade, by the way? Towns, OG, McBride, and some pick swaps for Giannis and Kyle Kuzma?
No.
Neither would I.
We have a nucleus. Let's build from the nucleus and add a piece or two. We don't need to dismantle the team.
Great appearance.
Yeah.
Good luck. No notes as always. You're the man. Photographic memory. Take care, my friend. Good job.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Don't destroy the hotel room tonight if it goes sideways.
At DraftKings, the Pacers are plus 2.5 games plus $1.15. Look at how well they played since January.
I actually think you might be able to find a better price on that once they all come out. There was who was the team? We liked the team a lot, plus 2.5 games. It was minus 130, and the series price was nowhere near this. Was it maybe the Pistons against the Knicks?
I know that Indiana-Cleveland was funky.
Yeah, that might have been it. That might have been it.
I thought the $5 was nuts down the street.
Win loses next, and we'll touch on tonight's Major League Baseball card coming up here on VSiN.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Thunder to win the West, plus 360. Most rebounds, Williams 17-1. Most threes, dead heat. Dort 10-1, Randall 11-1. Randall first basket 8-1, and first three-pointer of the game was 5-1. Florida closes out Carolina. Florida to win the East, plus 450. Florida on the puck line, plus 220. Empty net goal by the Panthers, plus 310. Exact score, 39-1. Rodriguez anytime, plus 370. Aho, 2 goals, 17-1. First goal, 13-1. And Anderson gets there again. He ends the season 10 straight unders with the saves prop.
That's wild, man.
That came in. Absolutely. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. At Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. This is a puppy who loves the AC, and he's right up against it in the car. And then when the human puts the AC off, he's got a problem with it and whines. I want to blow it in my face. Come on. Blow it back in my face. I want it to be cold. Come on. Right back up there. Then they turn it off.
I love that dog, too.
Good-looking pup, right? You turned it off? Hey, what's the deal? Hey, come on, put it back on. Never seen that before. He's trying to turn it back on, too. How good is that at the end? Come on, put that back up. I like the AC. That is awesome. Well done. Excellent. Number 2, golden retriever, unbothered, right? Dog's going crazy, barking back and forth at him, just sitting there in the front across, like, what's your deal? Huh? Why are you guys so fired up? No.
So it's in the car across the way.
Across the way, yeah.
Does it have sunglasses on?
I think, does he? Does he? Or
Yeah.
get sunglasses on? He does. I missed that the first time. That's excellent. Leave me alone. I'm fine. Lose some? It's a win some and a lose some, I guess. 10 straight games in the NHL playoffs in 19 of 21. Teams covered, the winners covered the puck line. Won by 2+ goals. 9 of the last 10 playoff games. The team has won by 3+ goals. See what happens tonight in Dallas. VSiN fans, how'd you like to play Circa Survivor or Circa Millions for free? Winner Circle Proxy giving away 1 free entry to each contest plus full proxy service. You'll be paired with a VSiN host for strategy all season long. Enter now for your chance to win. Visit winnercircleproxy.com/VSiN. More on OKC. They have 2 number 1s this year and a second, then 2 number 1s and a second, 2 firsts and 2 seconds, a first and 3/3, a first and 5 seconds. Youngest team in the NBA, headed to the finals, at least 20 picks over the next 5 drafts.
Yeah, they're set up okay, huh?
Oh, man.
Not too bad. What would you do? What would you do if the Bucks called and said, you want to talk turkey? What would you give us for Giannis?
If I win the title? I don't do anything. Not if I win the title.
I'd have a conversation with Milwaukee.
You would?
Oh, yeah, because what if it...
Yeah, they need young guys and picks. They do, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
You
I
got
mean...
Lillard out for the year. And
But I would never hang up the phone. I would always be like willing to listen to anything.
Yeah.
And if it's preposterous, then you hang up and you laugh. But if the Bucks call, I think you got to have a conversation. Great looking dogs. Let me point this out. I'm taking Sebastian to swimming lessons tonight.
Okay.
So he's 1 year old. This is like the 4th or 5th time. It's one of the highlights of my life. I want to take him swimming every day.
1 year?
Yeah, he's been going to swimming lessons now for a good.
You're kidding?
No. I had to dunk him down the other day. I was afraid to do it, but the swimming instructor was like, "Yeah, time to put him under the water now." I'm like, I'm looking around.
No way.
Is everybody else going to do this?
You're
and
kidding.
everybody else did it. I'm like, all right, buddy, here we go. And I was like, is he going to drive? No idea what to expect. Now, and it's honestly one of the coolest things that I've ever been able to do, and I can't wait to take him swimming like every single day. That said, there were people out there who told my wife and I that when we were ready to adopt, it's easier than raising a puppy. Your opinion now on anything no longer counts. I don't care if you're telling me 2 + 2 = 4. I have to reconsider who you are as a human being. You have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I could raise 10 puppies over one child. A puppy is way easier, but some of the marquee moments are excellent. Obviously,
Okay.
like I'm talking about with the swimming lessons tonight.
Knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
Remember remember Megabucks couldn't swim, and we had that mansion with the big pool.
Yeah.
And I go, what if someone's over and you can't swim, and if someone comes over and it's, I'll call you. I go, what? You call me?
Yes, right.
You're gonna die. I can't. What? It doesn't make any sense.
I'll be there in 2 minutes. I'll help you out.
That's what she said.
No problem.
If I have a problem, oh man.
All right. So tonight's Major League Baseball card. This is awesome. Sale against Wheeler. Wheeler has been so good.
Yeah.
His active scoreless inning streak is 22 2/3 innings. Wheeler has pitched 6 scoreless innings against the Braves 8 times in his career. And since 1920, only Don Sutton has had more such starts against the Braves. Yeah. 3.14 ERA, 206 innings pitched in 33 career starts against the Braves.
Don Sutton, Joe Simpson, with Carey and Pete Van Wieren, the nuts. Oh, they were good.
Yeah.
What a team.
Yep. So tonight, I think I want to go back to the first 3 innings here between these two because Sale's been really, really good as well. Although my one worry would be the Phillies are like elite against lefties. And these two guys went against each other earlier this season. It did not go well. Sale allowed a season-high 5 runs and 9 hits in 4 2/3. Wheeler got roughed up, season-high 5 runs and 8 hits in 5 1/3. Small sample size, 1 game. It's plus money under 1.5 first 3 innings. One time through the order, let's dance, get out of here, nothing.
23 and 6 run for the Phils. And the starter's ERA 2.71. Incredible.
Yep, they're going to win the most wins in May.
Schwarber, 4 of 9 against Sale with 2 bombs. And he's hitting 300 against lefties.
Mm-hmm.
You like the Blue Jays? A's have lost. What happened here?
I don't know.
They've lost 13 of 14. Barrios is $1.65 at home, and he is 5-0. He's 5-0. The team is against the A's. He's 3-0 personally. His last 5 starts against the A's with a 2.50. A's second most runs allowed. Oh boy.
Now there is this angle too. The Blue Jays are 2-4 in their last 6 games. They're back home after a road trip. Those 6 games were at Tampa and at Texas. Did you see how many runs they scored? In order, the Blue Jays scored 1-1-0, 2-0, and 2 runs. They scored 6 runs in 6 games.
Boy, have I been late to the party on this.
On the Rangers?
The 24 and 6 now. Under to the home games.
Oh, and
how about the team total? I mean, look what the team total is. They can't hit.
Oh.
And their starters give up nothing.
It's like first 3, first 5, first 7, full game unders the entire enchilada.
Yep. Well, I can count on Vlad, though. And he's got the 28-game on-base streak, and maybe he can do something tonight.
I think so, right? Because that's the longest of his career.
Yep.
And I think an angle here might be the total bases over 1.5. It's a cheap price tonight. That might be. I'm not going to bet him to hit a home run, but I think that would be the way to attack it. Would be total bases. You can also get involved with the hits plus runs plus RBIs if you would like. That's a little bit more expensive, but the total bases angle I think with Vlad is the one that I like the most.
All right. I also like Wood in the late game. I know you're going to talk about Gore in a second. Wood total bases. It's plus money, 2+. You can go 1.5 as well. Hitting 378, 4 bombs, 15 RBIs last 10 games. He's on pace for 44 and 118.
Yep. Back-to-back nights with a homer for him.
Back-to-back nights, yes, that's right.
Cal Raleigh's last month, 295 average, 10 home runs, 21 RBIs. Gore leads Major League Baseball with 93 Ks. The Mets against lefties, they have actually some pretty good numbers overall with the WRC Plus and the WOBA. However, they have a 25.1% K rate, 8th highest overall in Major League Baseball. And last night, I made it a point, because you brought it up yesterday, and I was already looking at this game, to get involved on Gore props early. Over 7, think about this, Pauly. Over 7.5 Ks opened up plus 110. I went to bet it. It got to plus 104. by the time I could actually get a bet in, it was even money. So I have 7.5 over that at even money. By the time I went back to the app 2 minutes later, look, it was $1.35. So everybody was betting him, expecting a big game tonight. It's gotten a little carried away for me, but also if you want to go at this stage of the game looking for some plus money and get nuts tonight, over 8.5, over 9.5 for him to strike out, 9, 10 guys tonight, you could maybe do that, and I would not hate it.
Okay. Sounds good.
I think he has 6 games. It's in my 6 games so far this year with at least 8 strikeouts. And that game against Baltimore 2 starts ago was nuts. 3 2/3, gave up 10 hits, and he struck out, went over his total. We were sitting here on the air when he struck out 13 Phillies, and I said, "What do you think? 80-1 on Ks, most in baseball this year? Nah, that's going to come back." Good Lord.
That's something.
Yeah.
This is wild. A lot of great stuff. PCA, another home run.
10-1 to win the MVP today.
That's right.
Yep. So, all right, let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Up next, Adam Rittenberg's going to join the program, covers college football for ESPN.
He's fired up, too.
We'll talk about how the sport will soon look nothing like it has for eternity and why he's fired up about it next here on VSiN.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.